I never imagined it would end up like this. When my landlord knocked, I knew I'd run out of chances, 3 months behind on rent, nothing left to sell, no one to ask for help. And then he made a proposal. One I should have turned down. But I didn't. Before we begin, please take a moment to like and subscribe. It only takes a second, but it helps this channel more than you know. Thank you for your support. Now, let's continue. The knock startled me. My robe had fallen open, bearing my thigh, but I was too drained to care. I opened the door. Mr. Harris stood there, his eyes roaming slowly, purposefully. "You're 3 months behind, Julia," he said. I pulled my robe closed. "I know, Mr. Harris. I just need more time." He stepped inside, closing the door. With a soft click. The air thickened. His stare weighed on me. "A shame," he said smoothly, "a beautiful woman like you, in such trouble." Heat crawled up my neck. "I'll figure it out," I stammered. He shook his head. "Time doesn't pay the rent, sweetheart." I had tried everything, overtime, loans, cutting back, nothing worked. "Please," I whispered, "just a little longer." He studied me, then tilted his head. "Or maybe, there's another way." My stomach dropped. There it was, the thing we both knew but hadn't said. "What do you mean?" I asked, voice shaking. "Come on, Julia," he sighed. "You know." The room felt smaller, my robe thinner, my pulse roaring in my ears. "No one has to know," he added. "Just between us." I hesitated, my heart hammering. He watched me, satisfied, almost mocking. "I can make all your problems disappear," he said. I breathed out, my choice is gone, no escape. Slowly, I nodded. His smile spread. He reached for the belt of my robe. "Good girl." Mr. Harris guided me to the bedroom, his grip steady but unhurried. The air pressed around me, and I caught the scent of his aftershave, mixed with something raw and masculine. At the bed's edge, he undid his belt, the soft metal click making me shiver. "You know what to do," he said, voice thick. A knot formed in my throat. I clenched my fists, frozen. He smirked, power in his gaze. "Don't act so shocked, Julia." "You agreed." Heat swirled in my belly, nervous and electric. I swallowed, then dropped to my knees. His fingers threaded into my hair, warm and commanding as I leaned forward. Surrounded by his scent, his presence. I placed my lips against him, moving carefully. He let out a sharp breath, his grip tightening, guiding me. The sounds he made sent an unexpected rush through me, a thrill I couldn't deny. His breathing quickened, body tensing, lost in the moment, in me. A strange flicker of power rose inside me. Just as I settled into a rhythm, he pulled away abruptly, panting, barely in control. "Get on top," he ordered, voice ragged. I obeyed, standing and moving onto the bed, my robe slipping open as I straddled him. His hands roamed my thighs, gripping them as if trying to memorize every inch. "That's it," he murmured, locking eyes with me. I reached down, aligning myself, gasping sharply as I sank onto him. He groaned, his fingers digging into my hips. "Better than I ever imagined," he breathed. I ignored the warmth his words sent through me. This was a transaction. But as I started moving, pleasure sparked through me, impossible to ignore. I bit my lip, trying to hide my reaction, but heat flooded my core, building with each motion. "Come on, Julia," he growled, "ride me like you mean it." His voice was rough, his hands controlling, guiding my rhythm. I obeyed, moving faster. Breath catching, each thrust fanning the heat inside me. He watched me with a knowing smirk, seeing through my weak denials. "You like this," he murmured. "No," I lied, even as my voice broke and I moved harder. His grip tightened, his hips rising to meet mine, perfectly in sync. The tension coiled between us, thick and consuming. I clenched my jaw, fighting not to make a sound. "Don't stop," he commanded, losing his composure, devouring every reaction, every movement, with his eyes, asked ChatGPT. I dug my nails into his chest, holding on his pleasure built inside me, threatening to spill over. His breath hitched, his body tensing beneath me. Then with a final shudder he exhaled, his hands locking me in place as he raked his peak. I followed seconds later. My body trembling from the intensity, but I swallowed my moans, keeping my expression unreadable as I collapsed onto him, my body still humming. For a moment we just lay there, our breathing heavy, skin damp and warm. Then slowly I moved off him, sitting at The edge of the Beatty didn't speak, I didn't need to, but deep down I knew the truth. I had enjoyed every second of it, and so died. I sat at the edge of the bed, pulling me robe around me, though it did little cover what had already been seen. My skin still tingled, my breath still unsteady. I felt his eyes on me, watching, waiting. You surprised me, Julia. His voice was smooth, amused. Didn't expect you to enjoy yourself that much. Heat flickered in Mistamok. I ignored it. It was just a deal, I murmured. He chuckled. Sure, if that's what you need. Tobaleve. Silence stretched between us. I should have felt ashamed, but I didn't. Not entirely. A part of me had liked it more than I wanted to admit. I have another proposition for you. I glanced at him. What do you mean? He leaned against the headboard, his shirt still open, his expression unreadable. You enjoyed this, I know you did, and there are men who'd pay good money for a woman like you. I stiffened. Joking, not Adel. He watched me closely. You said you're out of options, but you don't have to be. You could turn this into something lucrative. My breath hitched. That's different. This was just. I stopped because I didn't have the words. Just what? His smirk deepened. Just a favor, just for fun. I turned away, my mind racing. I should have been disgusted. Booty wasn't, because he was right. I had enjoyed it, and now the thought of doing it again, of being wanted, of being in control, of making something out of nothing didn't seem impossible. It's your choice, he said, standing up. Buttoning his shirt. You didn't have to say yes, but if you do, I know two men who'd pay well for a night with you. A chill ran through me. Not just one, two. I swallowed hard. It should have been an easy no, but it wasn't. How much? His smirk widened. More than you've ever made in one night. I exhaled slowly. My pulse hammered in my ears. One night, two men, a choice that could change everything. I lifted my chin and nodded. All right. Mr. Harris grinned, reaching for his phone. Good girl, I'll make the call. The next evening I stood in front of the mirror, smoothing my dress over my hips, tight, low cut, just revealing enough. Mr. Harris had picked it out himself, along with a pair of heels that made my legs look longer than I remembered. I barely recognized myself. My hands trembled slightly as I adjusted my hair. Why was I nervous? I had already made my choice. There was no turning back now. You look perfect, Mr. Harris murmured from the doorway. His eyes roamed over Meslow and approving. They'll love you. I swallowed hard, exhaling through my nose. Who are they? Friends, generous ones. She smirked. You give them a good night, Julia, and you'll never have to worry about rent again. A knock at the door. My breath caught. They were here. Mr. Harris smirked deep. In showtime, sweetheart. I turned toward the door, my heart pounding as I reached for the handle, and then I opened it. Two men stood, their eyes dark, expressions unreadable, and they were here for me. Led them into the room, my pulse pounding. Each step waited with anticipation. My heels tapped softly against the floor, the air charged with unspoken energy. They followed closely, their presence surrounding me. Two sets of eyes, two men whose attention was solely on me. I had agreed to this. I wanted this, but still something inside twisted. A flicker of hesitation, a spark of excitement. The taller one, broad-shouldered, confident in the way he carried himself, was the first to reach for me. His touch landed at my waist, firm, deliberate, his fingertips pressing lightly as though committing every curve. Tamamori, the other, leaner, sharper-eyed, quiet, but intensely observant, lingered just behind, his breath warm against the back of my shoulder, sending an unexpected ripple down my spine. Let's take care of this, the first murmured, his fingers brushing over the strap of my dress, teasing at the fabric. As he met my gaze, slowly layers slipped away, fabric falling with ease. Hands followed, exploring, learning, appreciating. As cool air kissed my skin, I reached forward and turned, my fingertips tracing the firm lines beneath their clothes, my touch testing their response. Their eyes never left me, waiting. A slow exhale left my lips. There was no hesitation. I wanted to give them exactly what they were waiting for. I moved with careful intention, fingers working through the closures of their belts, undoing each one at a measured pace, feeling the tension coiled beneath the layers between us, their breathing deepened, muscles shifting as I explored, warmth radiating against my touch. A quiet sound escaped the first man, a deep note of appreciation as he tilted my chin upward, meeting my gaze with something unreadable in his expression. Just like that, he murmured, his voice smooth-edged with something darker. A familiar heat curled through mesomething, both exhilarating and dangerous in the way they watched. My knees bent, movements deliberate, allowed myself, fingers still wrapped around them both, warmth pressing against me, skin one hovered near my lips. Aslant invitation waiting for my decision. I leaned in, welcoming him, tasting the heat, tracing the shape off him with deliberate care. Above me, Hain held sharply, fingers weaving through me hair, guiding me with the lightest touch. The second man wasn't forgotten. My other hand worked him with just as much attention, teasing, drawing out each reaction. His breath hitched, his fingers brushing the curve of my jaw as he studied me, absorbed in every moment their combined presence, the quiet sounds they made. The tension winding through the space between us, it sent a slow deep warmth spreading through Mistamok. That's it, one of them murmured, his voice thick, heavy with satisfaction. Just like that, the words sent another rush through me. They let me move at meow pace, letting me explore, letting mellows myself into him. Then one of them shifted back slightly, clearing his throat as though regaining focus. Come here, he said, his voice low, steady. We're just getting started. I settled onto the mattress, my breath Uneven me body thrumming with anticipation, the taller man positioned himself between my legs, his fingertips drawing slow deliberate circles along minor thighs, teasing, heightening the tension. The other moved beside me, his hand finding my chin, tilting my face toward him, his gaze locking onto mine with quiet intensity. "Let's see just how sweet you are," the first murmured, his voice deep laced with amusement. Then he lowered himself, his breath warm against my skin before the first flicker-off sensation sent a shudder through me. A sharp gasp caught in my throat as his lips explored me, his touch slow, patient, deliberate. My fingers curled against the sheets, gripping them as each movement sent another ripple of sensation through. The second man leaned in, his mouth brushing against mine before deepening the kiss, his lips parting against mine. I welcomed him, letting the warmth off him consume me, muffling the sounds escaping my throat as pleasure built between us. They moved in perfect rhythm, one unraveling me with his mouth, the other drawing me deeper into the kiss, his fingers threading through my hair, keeping me close. "Shek, incredible," one of them murmured, his voice laced with admiration. I should have felt nervous, I should have hesitated, but I didn't. I wanted more, and they could see it. They moved me effortlessly, guiding me, shifting me into position as if they already knew what I needed. Now I was on all fours, my body still trembling, still buzzing from their touch. The second man, the one who had been watching, waiting, patient until now, moved behind me, his hand steady on my waist, grounding me. "You ready for more?" he said, his voice low, knowing I barely had time to respond before he pressed forward, a slow measured pressure that sent a deep unrelenting warmth spiraling through me. My breath hitched, my fingers tightening against the sheets. As my body adjusted to him, he groaned softly, his grip securing me in place, his movements steady, deliberate, as if savoring every moment. The first man moved in front of, his fingers skimming my jaw, coaxing me, gaze upward. "Let me feel you," he murmured. I parted my lips, welcoming him, the heat of him against me, the steady rhythm of his breath mixing with mine. "Just like that," he whispered, his thumb brushing along my cheek, his fingers tangling into my hair. They moved together, each guiding me, their rhythm syncing, one keeping my body steady, the other keeping my focus locked on him. A quiet moan escaped my throat, the vibrations making the man in front of me inhale sharply, his fingers flexing against my skin. Behind me, the second man shifted, his pace becoming fluid, drawing another gasp from me as warmth pulled deep within my core. "You love this, don't you?" one of them murmured, his voice teasing, knowing I whimpered softly, my body betraying me, the truth evident in every movement, every sound I did. I loved every second off it. They weren't finished, they moved me again, lifting me, shifting me seamlessly into a new position, guiding me exactly where they wanted me. Now I was at top, the first man, his hands firm on my hips, grounding me, his gaze met mine, a flicker off satisfaction playing across his lips. "Let me see how much you want this," he murmured, his grip tightening just enough to steady me. A slow breath escaped my lips as I sank onto him, a deep warmth building inside me, the stretch sending another shudder down my spine. His head fell back against the pillows, a quiet groan slipping from his lips as I moved against him. But behind me, the second man wasn't done. I felt his touch first, teasing, testing, his fingers exploring the curve of my back, waiting for my reaction. A sharp breath left me, anticipation curling through my stomach, a flicker of hesitation met with an even deeper sense of want. He leaned forward, his breath hot against my ear. "Take your time," he murmured, "I'll guide you through it." I exhaled, my body tensing, adjusting. A slow gradual acceptance as he pressed forward, the heat between us intensified the moment, stretching bodies sinking in perfect rhythm. "That's it," one of them groaned, just like that. I wasn't sure who spoke, I was too lost in it, too overwhelmed by the way they moved with me, their touch, their breath, their bodies keeping pace with mine. They worked in tandem, one steadying my hips, the other pressing closer, their movements precise, controlled. The pressure built, slowly spreading through me in waves, my breath coming faster as the sensation coiled tighter and tighter. "You're incredible," one of them murmured, his voice reverent, filled with something raw. "Look at her," the other whispered, his fingers skimming my spine, making me shudder. Completely lost in it, I couldn't hold back anymore. The tension inside me coiled to its peak, a final deep pull that unraveled me completely, warmth crashing through my body in waves, and then a sharp inhale from beneath me, his fingers pressing into my skin, his body tensing as his rhythm faltered. A low groan behind me, his grip steadying me as he let go, following right after. The moment stretched, breathless and infinite, before fading into warmth. The room settled into silence, the only sound the slowing rise and fall of our breaths in the and I never expected to enjoy it, I never expected to want more, but now I can't stop thinking about it. So tell me, was I wrong, or was this exactly what I needed? Let me know in the comments, and if you want more stories like this, don't forget to like and subscribe. See you next time.